The last few weeks have been a bit messy for me. My lack of knowledge in Blender, the 3D printer and lots of waiting times in between have really delayed this project. But now I'm finally done and can present to you Ninetales. She's meant to be part of a Haunted Mansion project that I want to expand a bit more in the future. But before we begin, just a quick note. This definitely won't be a Blender tutorial. I honestly know way too little about that program, especially when it comes to modeling and all the possibilities. I'm completely lost. I mostly use the simple tools in the sculpting area and I still make a lot of mistakes. But everyone finds their own way somehow, and the most important thing is to have fun with it. Over time you naturally get better. Basically I only use a few different tools. I usually start with a sphere and mainly use the grab tool with the x-axis activated to shape the base form. That already saves a lot of time compared to traditional clay sculpting, and symmetry is guaranteed that way. In addition to grab, the mask tool is also very practical. It allows you to target certain areas without moving the whole body. From time to time I do a little remesh. For a lot of stuff I use clay strips, since that give the statue a nice classic sculpted look. For sharper details I go with crease sharp. The eyes are best made from separate spheres, since that keeps the transitions much cleaner. And as I've learned, it's not a problem if different meshes overlap. They get merged later during the slicing process before printing anyway. At that stage the model's interior is joined and hollowed out, so working with multiple meshes actually makes sense. Of course, sometimes things just go wrong, like with the hair. That could have been done much better, but that's just my lack of Blender knowledge showing. For the fur I wanted to keep that simple Pokémon style look while still adding a bit of texture. Nothing too detailed, just a few clay strips. For some areas like fingers or here the paws, the inflate tool works really well. You can use it to add and remove volume. The tails were sculpted separately and then duplicated and repositioned. I later realized they were way too thin and not fluffy enough, so I improved the original tail design before copying it again. A few more clay strips and extra detail, and from here it went into the printer. For the base I just used a foam board from the hardware store and coated it with plaster. Then I experimented a bit with cheap acrylic paint. I had a specific look in mind, but I didn't really know how to achieve it, or what materials to use. I thought I'd try static grass, and oh boy, it was really not the look I was going for. So I put the base aside for a while and focused on the statue instead. Again using cheap paints that love to shoot out in bursts even when they are way too thin. For the highlights I switched to Vallejo, and there was actually a big difference. Next I used a branch, drilled some holes into it, and glued in small tree roots I collected from the forest. For the twigs I use fern. Just mix glycerin with warm water in a 1:2 ratio. Add some fabric dye for coloring, soak the fern in it for about a week and then attach it to the branches. Back to the base, I scraped off the static grass and replaced it with a mixture of soil and sand, and tried how it would look with moss. And that was actually more in line with the look I was going for. I had collected the moss from my garden, washed it, and soaked it in the same glycerin solution as the fern. After that I glued the statue in place using superglue, and refined the whole diorama with carefully placed moss. As I mentioned above, this is part of a larger project, so the Blender footage of the statue will come later. And now, here comes Ninetales. So that's it for today, I hope you had fun. Stay cool, stay healthy, and for anyone interested, the next project will be released on Halloween.